going to talk about, because within the last couple of days, some interesting research has proven such. Even CNN is commenting on this. But we have a lot to get to. I mean, a lot to get through. There are a lot of little points that I've kind of put together, little breadcrumbs that have been thrown my way, and I've been stringing them together, and I got to tell you something. When you put it all together, there's no other explanation to be found than these are exciting times. Not times to be scared, because fear is the enemy. In any event, we're going to have some fun. So buckle up, as they said about planet Nibiru when they discovered it, because everything's about to change. Now, I had planned all week about talking about the internet, how the US is giving it over to the UN's control, ICANN. If you know anything about this, it's kind of spooky. I know a lot of people are talking about how everything's going to be censored now. The bottom line is, the internet being handed over is news, and you should do the research and look into it, because it's about to happen. I mean, we're talking it probably already is happening as we speak. But this morning when I was researching, I found some more information that, man, it just lit me up. It was almost like it was sent to me. When I started talking about Nibiru, and I started sharing how I had been inspired through just a bunch of coincidence and strange dreams to look into it, and after looking into it for a while, I finally said, you know what, I'm an educated person, and you can't help but question, are we being told everything? And when I started questioning, I found out, we're probably not being told everything. And the footage that I'm going to show you later in the program, not just about Planet X now being legitimized, not just about a possible binary system that we're already in, that sun nemesis that everybody said we were nuts to think about. Well, it turns out we may indeed be in part of a binary system. We're not going to just talk about that. We're also going to talk about some interesting footage that appeared up on SETI. SETI H1A, I think, is the name of it. And it is freaky. Into this, okay? Because it's the title of it is The Hunt for Planet 9 Reveals. So much for nobody looking for Planet 9 because, it's not out there, right? Well, they've been looking. It's been going on for a long time, and in their search for it, within the last year or so, one, dwarf planet after another is found. And when I first put a video out there about this, they said that it was preposterous. But then it was like within weeks that these discoveries they started coming forward. And now this one is the big one. Let me just read a little bit of this, because this was posted on August 29th, 2016. In the race to discover a proposed ninth planet in our solar system, Carnegie's Scott Shepard and Chadwick Trujillo of the Northern Arizona University have observed several never-before-seen objects in the extreme distances from our sun in our solar system. Shepard and Trujillo have now submitted their latest discoveries, okay? Now, why this is important was, as they were finding one after the other, they realized that if they found more, that this had to be part of a greater system. Because Biden, which they found in, what was it, 2014, the discovery of 2012 VP113, nicknamed Biden, which means two or two-tooth. It has its most distant orbit in our solar system. At this time, Shepard and Trujillo also noticed that a handful known of extreme trans-Neptunian objects all clustered together with a similar orbital path. Now, the irony is this elliptical orbit that you're going to find that is proposed of Nibiru, Planet X, Planet 9. This is now like science fact. So you can't say it doesn't exist anymore, people. Now, these are trans-Neptunian objects. What that means is their orbit, basically they orbit around the sun outside of Neptune. So yeah, it's far away. I get that. Yeah, I never said that Nibiru was going to come crashing into us. No, that's never been what I've said. I've always said that once it enters into our solar system, we may have some problems. And as it's getting closer, we're already experiencing it. Global flooding, drought, global heat like never before. This is the thing that is troubling, because we've realized that it's all caused by this incoming system. If, they say if, it actually exists. The more objects that are found at extreme distances, the better the chance of constraining the location. Okay, so what they're doing is they're looking, Shepard is looking for this Planet 9. They want to track it down. And they got a great little video that they just put out. Just take a look.
Thousands of years ago, the sky gazers of the classical world knew about 6 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Thanks to the invention of the telescope, Uranus was discovered in 1781. But discrepancies in its orbit meant that something was tugging at it. Sure enough, that something turned out to be Neptune. Ever since, scientists have wondered if there might be yet another planet in our solar system, sometimes called Planet X. Now, astronomers have strong evidence for one. A planet roughly the size of Neptune, with a mass 10 times the Earth's, and a thick atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Just as Neptune was predicted based on its influence on Uranus, the evidence for Planet X is indirect. Astronomers observe 6 small solar system objects and notice they come closest to the Sun in a unique configuration. There's only a 1 in 15,000 chance that this orbital clustering is a coincidence. It is much more likely that Planet X has shepherded the 6 objects into their orbits. This explodes our conception of the solar system, because Planet X would loop around the Sun unimaginably far away in a strange elliptical orbit, so far away that it takes 15,000 years to make the trip. By comparison, Neptune's orbital period is 165 years. Of course, not everyone will be convinced of Planet X until we have visual proof. Researchers are now using one of the world's largest telescopes, Subaru, in Hawaii, and they say they have a reasonable chance of finding Planet X in the next 5 years. Once spotted, we can welcome Planet X as the 9th planet in our solar system.
Now, they say the orbit is 15,000 years. Sitchin says it's 36,000. But this is the thing that is really important, is this thing is massive. They're saying that it's more than 15 times the mass of Earth. And that's what's sort of troubling, because you got to understand gravity. When something massive comes in, it messes up everything else. when I began talking about this, I was criticized, and I'm sure many of you that are watching today, you should feel a little bit legitimized because, I mean, is anybody going to say to Shepard, are they going to say, where's your tinfoil hat? No, they're not going to say that because he's, a very well-respected astronomer. Me, on the other hand, I'm just some guy that comes to you and talks. So when this thing comes into, our solar system because of its mass, there's a couple of things that are troubling. And one of them is the fact that as it's moving through the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud, all of these comets and asteroids that are hanging out there, well, it's gravity kind of catapults them and repulses them, and a lot of them can be sent our way, and that's what's troubling, and that's why NASA's not coming out and saying anything, and that's why bunkers are being built, and that's why you have the Doomsday Seed Vault. That's why Russia is pointing their nukes toward the sky for asteroids. That's why NASA has the asteroid redirection mission. This is because the world is getting together. The leaders and those that are in charge, they know that something is heading our way. They know it. They've known it for a long time. They can't tell you about it because you'll stop paying your bills, right? So they keep us in the dark. Now, I'm not going to get into the conspiracy of all the astronomers that have coincidentally died on their way to telling more people about this. But I think that the news is trickling out so fast right now that we don't even really have to worry about that, because I think soon we're going to actually be told, that there is a Planet 9, and we're going to be told that its orbit will bring it into our solar system without a shadow of a doubt. We may not be told that this could spell, some trouble for all of us, but we may be told very soon. Now, they even have this thing called Asteroid Day. Asteroid Day. Everybody gets together and they talk about it. This Planet 9, is also said to be responsible for the tilting of our solar system. As well as shepherding many of our planets into our solar system. So when Planet 9 and this system came around last time, some of the planets that were actually attached to it, they probably kind of got sucked into the gravitation of our sun and has stuck around. That's what they're basically theorizing. The big thing is the discovery of Nibiru a couple of weeks ago. Now, I did a video about this because there was something about the fact that it was in a retrograde orbit. They said that it was orbiting backwards. It wasn't operating like a normal planet. That's why they called it Nibiru, because it was rebellious. Well, now that backwards elliptical orbit makes plenty of sense, especially if it's attached to another star, codename Nemesis. Would make all the sense in the world, because our younger sun, which has planets orbiting in a prograde motion and a couple on the outer side operating in a retrograde motion, well, they would be orbiting a different way than the older star, which is orbiting opposite, if you will. Which makes plenty of sense. As it gets closer, then you have these little dwarf planets like Nibiru, and we have this in Biden, and we have all of these others that have been discovered, all operating together in this small cluster, and they know that it's attached to this one massive planet, Planet 9, which is what they're trying to track down. Now, a lot of people, they worry about Nibiru colliding, and I said this earlier, and I get a lot of comments from people, and I really would love to be able to respond to everybody, and I do try. And if I don't get back to you, please do forgive me, because I love all of you, and I'm so grateful that you all take the time to just watch this, and especially the ones that take the time to encourage me. It means so much to me. But I do get some emails, from even young adults that are nervous. They're scared, and every one of these videos that I share, I know that there's a part of it that is disturbing, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that there was part of me that was troubled a little bit. But I have this crazy faith, and this faith that everything is kind of going according to plan, and I'm not too worried about the world coming to an end anytime soon. I'm not worried about that, but I do believe great change is coming, and I'm excited about that, and I want you to be excited about that too. Super excited, especially since SETI, which I believe ties into this whole thing, because as this system is coming in, so comes a signal from outer space. What I think is fascinating about this is that they say that this signal had to come from a species that is far more advanced than us. They actually brought up the Dyson sphere, as basically pulling off the energy of another sun to send this message. That would make a lot of sense, especially if the Anunnaki are real. Could it be that they're sending us a little message saying, hey, we're on our way, and we'll get the gold ready? If you don't know anything about the Sumerian legend, you can look it up. Just Google it. Google the Anunnaki. But I do find it fascinating that even just was it last week or the week before, there was some interesting footage found at SETI, and it almost looks like I think it's called the Stargate mission, where they're proposing basically creating this huge solar shield that basically catapult a craft through intergalactic travel. This is something that's been proposed. Well, basically, when you're looking at this SETI video, man, if it doesn't look like some kind of a sail is opening up, heading our way near Pluto, because that's where it was caught. If it doesn't look like some kind of a sail or a shield is opening up, I don't know what it looks like. But I'm telling you, you cannot tell me that that is some anomaly. That is something very, very, very intricate in design. And just take a look. I mean, you tell me after watching that. You tell me. I mean, does that look like there is something going on in the outer reaches of our solar system? It does to me. You tell me. The fact that SETI right now is receiving signals, and you watch, by the way, in the next coming days, you see how the news media will say, oh, it's just some kind of technical interference. Because, this information, it was leaked. It wasn't supposed to get out to the public, so SETI was scrambling, like, how do we deal with this? So what they're doing is little by little, they're going to start putting out information. They're going to start saying things like, oh, it was a transmission interference, or it really is an extraterrestrial life, so don't worry about it. They're going to do everything they can to, button this up. But why aren't they reporting on it? You know, why isn't the news media showing us that footage from SETI, huh? Why aren't they making a bigger deal about the findings of Planet 9? I mean, they're saying that it's like 75%, that the chance is like 75% that it's actually there, because it's the only thing that makes sense. And they're even saying that they're going to probably discover it within the next 5 years. People, it's been written about. It was documented long before we came here. The truth will set us free, and we'll never know the truth if we're not asking for it. Seeking, you find, you knocking, the door is open for you. Not enough people are questioning. Not enough people are opening their mouths and saying, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. If you ask for it, you'll find it. And if you seek it, you'll find it. But if you just sit around and you just listen to what everybody else is telling you, you're going to end up doing what most people do, and that is going through your life blind and ignorant, like sheep led to the slaughter. I, for one, I would rather be a shepherd, much like this Planet 9 system, which they say is shepherding in planets into our own solar system, right? And the irony is that being a part of a binary system, well, especially on a huge elliptical orbit, well, it wreaks havoc on the planetary systems involved. It really does. I mean, we are talking some collisions. We may not see that, of course, but it does beg the question, is this what happened with Tiamat? Now, if you don't know anything about Tiamat, well, it was said to be a planet and also a goddess that was torn into two. Look into Tiamat. It was funny, I woke up about 2 weeks ago with that word in my head, and I didn't even know why. So I said, well, what is Tiamat? And I started Googling it. I started looking it up. And I know a lot of you who've been into Nibiru for years and have been studying this for years, I know that you know this, and I know that I'm new to this, but I'm telling you, I think it's fascinating that that word was in my head in a dream, and I woke up and I looked it up, and there it is, Tiamat. All right, look it up yourself. SETI, the footage that we just saw, SETI, looking for where that alien transmission came from, and Shepherd, right? Isn't that interesting? That the astronomer's name is Shepherd. Planet 9, is it real? Well, kind of looks like it is. Kind of looks like it is. And it does kind of explain everything that all of us are going through. This world is, whoa! I'll tell you, exciting times, people. And this news should be shared. So do me a favor and tell a friend about it. You know, share this video if you want. I don't mind. I love it. I love it. Press subscribe if you haven't already. That would mean the world to me, because every week I'm going to try to come to you with some new exciting information to share. I really do love you all. And I really am grateful for all of you that have kind of come with me on this journey. And I am so excited to see what comes of it. And I don't want you all to be scared. I really don't want you to operate in fear. I want you to operate in faith. Believe you're going to wake up tomorrow, but believe that tomorrow is going to be a better day than it's ever been before. If you believe it, you receive it, because our perception does indeed become our reality. There's a belief that we actually can co-create, because we've been endued upon high, that everything was created through the Son of God, the Son of Man.